Want to see how I would... Want to see how...
My mic is off. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I turned it off before because there was an ambulance driving past and it was pretty loud. So thanks for that. Yeah, do you think being a lawyer and suing factory farms for things like false advertising or mistreating employees could be an effective way to reduce suffering? Yes, but I think that obviously there are more effective issues within the legal system to tackle. So to some extent, can hear you now. Awesome, thanks. To some extent, you're still, as a lawyer, you're still somewhat bound by the legal system. So, I mean, to some extent, it doesn't really matter how good a lawyer you are if the laws just suck. So, sorry, just 1 second. Quickly take my science data. Oh, it actually works pretty well. Cool, we can pop that parachute and just chill. Yeah, so to some extent, it depends on like what the laws are already. I mean, if it's not legal if it's not a legal requirement for animals to have shade in factory farms, for example, or outdoor farms. I mean, it doesn't matter how good a lawyer you are, you're not going to be able to do anything about that. I mean, that's where legal advocates come in, or like political change for political parties. I think that's more their role. So to an extent, and I mean, there are some things where there are like some low-hanging fruits within that space. I know someone in the US who is working on like consumer law. So they advocate for in the legal system for things like, as a lawyer, for things like so like they'll take farmers and distributors of animal products to court over things like false advertising, arguing that when a company says that their animals are happy on farms, they argue that that's misleading, that's false advertising. So I mean, false advertising and just consumer law in general is already like I mean, that's that's like an active area of law in general. So they're kind of tapping into that more generally active area of law, and making that case. So that I think is effective. One thing that's interesting is people who try to argue for personhood, legal personhood for animals in court, and I know some people have done this with great apes. That one's interesting, but I don't. It's harder to see the impact of that kind of change. I mean, I think those sorts of changes are like more about the indirect effect of maybe changing public perception. But I definitely think something like targeting consumer law and making the case that these companies are false advertising, that could be effective. But yeah, I think to summarize, like it depends on the laws that are already in place. What about the lawsuits costing the factory farms money? Even if you lose the case, the factory farm would have to spend a lot of money to defend themselves. Well, it depends, because I guess if you take a factory farm to court and you lose, don't you have to pay them damages? I'm certainly not a lawyer, but I would imagine. I mean, it would be an inconvenience, but I imagine it might not be that bad, and you'd end up having to pay them money potentially. So I don't know if just taking them to court, if you don't think you'll win, is the right play. Because you'd have to. Yeah, I mean, you can't, like, if you take someone to court and you end up losing and you waste their time, you have to pay them. You have to pay for some of their legal fees, I think, right? I could be wrong about that. In Australia, you have to pay for their legal defense if you lose. In the US, you don't. Is that right? I did not know that. Yeah, that could be interesting then. All right, let's bring a little probe home. It's so light and this parachute is so effective that this has taken a while. Yeah, we got one of those missions done. So I think let's just try and get to the moon. Let's do a moon landing. I think that'll be my main goal for the day. Might take a few goes, but I just find those kinds of missions more enjoyable anyway. Yeah, my friend's company got sued and he won, but it still cost him over 100,000 to defend himself. That's pretty crazy to me. Like that's really wild. I mean, what stops someone from just taking people to court then? Like, is there... I feel like there should be some more penalty for that. Alright, made a little bit of money off that. Oh, I didn't end up acquiring my science. Let's get propulsion systems and engineering. I think that's all we can do for now. So let's try and make a moon lander. Scrap this piece of junk because I did not like that rocket one bit. Just gonna go for the regular pod. I just feel like I like that one better. Oh, I guess we may as well see what missions we have. Yeah, it's a bad system. That's why most cases end in a settlement before going to trial in the US, because both sides don't want to have to spend the legal fees. Yeah, I've heard, I mean, I've heard about the strategy of, like, just settling. A lot of my knowledge of the US legal system is based on Suits, which may or may not be the most accurate representation. Good show. But I did get a bit sick of it by, like, season 5. It got a bit repetitive, I think. Never ended up finishing it. Would have been cool if I had a mission to actually land on the moon. This one's the wording of this confuses me. They say on an escape trajectory out of Kerbin. Does that mean actually leaving Kerbin permanently, or just getting into orbit? Either way, I don't think it's probably not going to be very convenient to do that one. Yeah, let's just try and make this happen. No missions in mind. Just doing it for the science. So I'm going to use a drogue parachute because that's pretty handy for re-entry once we come back, because we'll be going pretty fast. Yeah, bring some science in there, of course. I don't know if it actually matters if I cover the hatch, but let's try not to do that. Have you ever spoken to Brian Tomasic? Yes, I have actually. Once, maybe twice. Yeah, some of their work has been pretty influential for my way of thinking. Their wild animal suffering writing in particular made me aware of that issue. Alright, so this is what's going to come back to Earth, or Kerbin. Now, let's build the rest of the actual lander. Probably use one of these because we want something with max vacuum efficiency. Looks like it's going to be this one. So this will be our lander. We will strap some legs onto this. Do I even have legs? If not, that's going to be interesting. Where do I get... Ah, perfect. Landing leg. Ah, yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Look at that. We'll get 3 legs. I think we can retract those at the start. Yeah, nice. Are you heavily concerned about AI safety? That seems to be his biggest concern. Yeah, I'm pretty concerned about AI safety. I say. That's not true. I'm quite concerned about AI safety. Yeah. I'm more concerned than much more concerned than the average person. I think it is probably getting that right is probably one of the most important things we can do. I'm also, so I'm concerned about existential risk, but I'm also maybe more concerned about making sure the future goes right if there is a future. But AI safety kind of covers both of those. It's like making sure there's a future for humans, but then if there is a future for humans, or for life in general, then getting AI safety right kind of matters a lot, I think, for making sure the future is good. Yeah, because even if we don't go extinct because of like a hard artificial general AI takeoff, things could turn out pretty badly for humans. Or even if we do go extinct, then I think like if one general AI like runs a lot of smaller AI systems and which like for work, but causes them a lot of suffering, if they end up being sentient, I think that's pretty bad as well. So yeah, I guess I'm pretty concerned about that. All right, so that's our lander. Put another decoupler. I think this is going to be. I think this will be 3 stages. Probably another one of these for that stage. And then one more decoupler, and this will be our bottom stage, which will also include some boosters. 4 boosters, I think. It's gonna be a long boy. We'll get 4 of the big ones. Excellent. Okay, so first stage. Oh, do I have a bottom engine? No, not yet. Something with the most thrust in sea level. 250, 265, 240. But I think I do like the control of the swivel. It's only a little bit less efficient, a little bit less thrust. So bottom stage is the main engine and the 4 boosters. These detached, and this detaches. We've got that stage, that detaches. That's our lander. That detaches for return. We got 2 parachutes. We'll have those at different stages though. With the drogue in the second to last stage. I think the way AI currently works seems very different to how a sentient being thinks, and I question if we can get to AGI using LLMs or if a new breakthrough will be needed. That seems fair, yeah. Yeah, I think that seems fair on both counts. Yeah, I don't know if LLMs will necessarily be the final AGI architecture. I think they're getting pretty good at some things. But there may be limiting factors for applying that more generally. Yeah. But I mean, an LLM could be instrumental in like leading to a breakthrough in AGI, even if it's a different technology or a different architecture. Yeah, let's try this. It's the worst that can happen. We'll call this Moonlander. Let's give that a go. We're going to the moon. Oh yeah, I didn't put my fancy new struts on. Oh, this thing is gonna fall over. That's alright, we can just take off straight away, we'll be fine. But I am going to... But having said that, I don't know what's going to happen when it's time to detach. I think I have to take off straight away because this thing's pretty wobbly, so let's get ready and hit it. Alright, it's good to have a crew back in here because I think they're the ones who are giving me most of my stability. I'm hoping that strut's going to break off when it needs to, otherwise I have to go back to the drawing board. Do you think it's likely that China, Russia, or the US has an AI project similar to the Manhattan Project that's ahead of the general public's AI models? I don't think that's likely, just based on how much of this seems to be led by the private sector. Certainly not for the US. Russia and China, it's a bit harder for me to say. Hot. Alright, we're fine. Yeah, like Russia, I don't think that's probably not the... I think that's probably not the case. Oh no, my engine got knocked off. That's so... okay. It was going so well as well. Yeah, China and Russia are a little bit more black box. Not as clear to me what's going on there. USA, I don't think so. Oh well, at least the booster's actually detached from the struts, so that's nice. Just came back and just clipped my engine there, unfortunately. Oh man. I don't know. Maybe it's not that big a deal. I mean, this was almost spent on fuel. Maybe we're fine. Okay, perhaps this is way bigger than I want it to be anyway, but that probably is fine. So, okay. Alright, first things first, we'll circularize this orbit. And once we've done that, how are we looking? We need to get the planes aligned, and then so first first we'll circularize, and then we'll have to fire at the ascending or descending node. This engine, it's efficient, but it's surprisingly not as much thrust as I expected. I have to burn for a while just to circularize. Alright, we're getting there. .330. That's pretty close to circular. Might be good enough. Alright, so we're gonna add a maneuver here at the ascending node. And we want to fire down so we can get the planes kind of more aligned. We want a 0-degree difference ideally. That's a bit too much. All right, that looks pretty good. It's got, this is, well, I have a, it's gonna be tricky because I don't have, I guess my pilot is not skilled enough to, like, maintain, the maneuver, like the target, rather. But I mean, at least it shows me where it is. That's not too bad. Right. So the burn time is 21 seconds. You want to start burning at about 10 seconds until the node, because you'll be burning like half before and half after. Alright, let's go. You can see our orbit is changing its plane just a little bit to get us aligned with the moon, so we can then try and make an intercept. Alright, pretty good. Okay. Now, where's the moon? There it is. So, probably want to add a maneuver around here. Let's see if we can intercept. That looks decent. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we'll get to this point and then we will burn the other direction to slow down to an orbit, circular orbit around the moon. And then we can come in for a landing. Yeah. All right, I'm feeling good about this. A little bit late on this thrust. All right, let's go. Okay, we're gonna run out of fuel of this stage just before we finish this burn. All right, that's engine done. Next engine. Gone a little bit off course of that maneuver. All right, how's that looking over there? Perfection. Yeah, nice. That looks really good. All right, now the only thing to do is wait until we get to the moon. So I'm going to speed up time a little bit, and I'm going to see what Gemma's doing. She's been watching from behind me. All right, Gemma. Cheers. No way. Gemma's been my support cat during this trying space mission. Thanks, Gemma. Alright, let's get back to task. Alright, here comes the mun. I'm gonna make a save here, in case we mess this one up. So once we get to this point, we can add a maneuver. We want to fire retrograde until we get a circular moon orbit. And actually, I'll go one better. And just make it an actual approach as well at the same time. Cool. When the node hits 12 seconds, we can start burning. Yeah, so we did nothing from now. We would have just flown right past the moon. But now, this way we're in a moon orbit and we're gonna go even slower so we can try and land. I am a little bit worried about how much fuel I have left. If I was better at the game, I would know how much fuel I need to land and come back. Or how much delta V, because it does tell me. So, alright. Now we can kind of just... Probably don't need a maneuver to actually land. Because what we'll do is... Once we get to about this point, let's see if we can land in that nice big crater, actually. That looks pretty cool. Once we get to this point, we're going to just kind of like max thrust horizontal, try and get rid of our horizontal velocity. We can come in nice and slow. The moon's like orbiting away from us slowly. Rotating, I mean. Go just a little bit further. Alright, there it is. And is this the crater? I think we should be right over it. Yeah, there it is. That's the edge. Cool. Let's do this. So we're going horizontal at about 550 meters a second. Get that down to 0, and then it's just a matter of controlling our descent. So I want to extend these legs, because we'll be needing those soon. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about successfully making it home. Well, I don't really want to land in that in that hole. I want to land somewhere a little bit fluffier. I think retrograde should be right down, yeah. Oh no, we're going for the hole. All right, we're going for the crater. Oh, it's gonna be a little bit uneven there. Maybe I could have been more patient, landed out there somewhere. That's all right. Make sure we're in altitude because there's a pretty big difference there. Okay, we're coming down, kinda not too bad. Rock actually looks so nice. Because that would be the bedrock, I guess, on the edge of this crater. Really digging the graphics the mods bring. Alright, let's focus up. Not happy with how much fuel I'm burning here. But if our little astronaut doesn't make it back, then that's a sacrifice they've made for science. Okay, it actually ended up being like a fairly nice spot to land, all things considered. Touchdown. Oh, please do not flop. Oh, thank God. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. We are on the moon. It's a little bit wonky, but we made it. That's so cool. Let's take some science. Let's hop on out, Jebediah. Oh, I can't plant a flag. I think I need to upgrade the astronaut complex. Can I do that remotely? But we did. I mean, that was most of my goal, was to get to the moon, and we've done that. Getting back, we shall see. We shall see. Electric charge is dropping. I don't like that. Why is that dropping so fast? Alright, let's see if we can upgrade the astronaut complex. I don't know if this is going to work retrospectively. I didn't realize... Oh. Okay, I can perform EVAs now and place flags. I think. How do I go back to my dudes? My dude on the spaceship. this gonna take me back to the moon? Yeah, nice. Oi, why is that happening? That's... I did not like that. I guess it just reset the physics a little bit. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and load that save because that's not good. Oh no, loading a save does that. That's concerning. Maybe I'm not going to... Oh, you know what I could do? I'm going to load the moon approach because then I can... Where are we? Why is that so far back? Oh, that was an old save. Okay. Yeah, this is the one. Alright. Okay, so we're back here. That's not too bad. I'm going to... We'll upgrade that space station now, so the astronaut complex now. So we don't have to deal with switching back. I didn't realize it when you switch to it, it kind of jiggles it around a bit. What does that do for me anyway? So I can perform EVAs, place flags. This guy's leveled up once, so I don't know what that means. Alright. Back to our mission. That's pretty cool. There's our 4 tracking centers. Alright, same story. We're gonna circularize, bring us in. I think that's roughly what we did last time. We'll aim to land somewhere slightly more flat. I mean, it was pretty flat there, but just that little bit of angle was enough to cause some issues. Yeah, I mean, we'll on this trajectory we'll be just not quite in the crater, but we'll be on the dark side, which I think the dark side's better than landing in the crater though, just because the crater's so unstable. I don't know, it's just so choppy out here. think that maybe the crater is my best bet. I'm gonna do a lap. All right, let's hit it. Like somewhere there maybe would be good. Guess the moon's just a rugged place. I mean, not in one of those holes. Extend these out. Maybe I can make another save here. Alright, right there. That's where I want to go. Let's see if I can land there. Just a little bit further because I don't want to land in that little crater there. I'm feeling very optimistic about this one. Yeah, it's looking a lot more flat here than our last attempt. Alright, looking pretty good. Don't tip, don't tip. Yes! Oh, beautiful. Okay. It's like still deceptively not quite flat, but we've done it. For real this time. So. Don't need the lights on, but let's do a bit of an EVA. Can you do it this time? Yes, nice. Oh, don't you tip that rocket. He's holding onto the side and pulling it down. I do not like how that rocket's wobbling. That is very disturbing to me. But let's just walk away a little bit. And where should we plant this flag? Does anyone have any suggestions? Because this is pretty exciting. Do a little report. I can I thought we could collect a sample, but I don't see any way to do that right now. I think we'll plant a flag and maybe take a screenshot. There we go. I like that. All right, very nice. Yeah, I thought you could take a sample. Never mind. Let's just endure the moon terrain for a second. Do you think Brian Tomasic has a strong reasoning for not being vegan? I didn't know they weren't vegan. Is that based on their argument of like factory farming, reducing net wild animal suffering? Might have to remind me of their position there. Alright, see if we can get home. I'm pretty worried that we're not going to have enough propellant here. Oh, did I automatically take a sample? Maybe I guess I don't have a storage to put the sample in. Oh, well, that's fine. Okie dokie, this is going to be tricky. We have to basically fly horizontal as quickly as possible, circularize this orbit, and try and... Well, we'll start there. That's the first thing we have to do anyway. Oh, but we want to go like I don't know, like what in this direction, I guess, left or right is what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, we'll have to burn more fuel than we need to. Don't think it matters which way we go, but we'll just change what we have to do later. So I'm gonna go. Don't even know what direction I'm aiming. There we go. Okay. I've messed this up pretty good. All right. Yeah, that'll help. Yeah, I'm not too confident about having enough fuel to get back here. I think this is going to be a bit of a permanent moon orbiter that one day maybe we can rescue. They're vegan except they eat milk products because the suffering per calorie for milk products is much lower than for other vegan products because one cow produces a lot of milk. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. Well, I think that's true that milk has a lower suffering per calorie than like meat, for example. But I mean, I guess, look, from a utilitarian perspective, that makes it less bad, but I also don't feel like, I mean, we still don't need to. So like I don't know. You could almost like, I guess like you could say like you can apply relativeness, the relative badness of things to any, like just forever. And at some point you do have to draw the line, but like I just still think like you don't need to drink milk. And it's not like it's a super cheap and effective source of calories and nutrients anyway. So I just find it a bit like unnecessary. Like why? I don't know. I mean, obviously, like almost everything we do in our lives causes some impact. Like even by eating wheat, like if I eat bread, maybe some animal died in the cropping for that bread. But I guess it's about like what's practical. But yeah, I just don't know about that one because I think milk just seems like a weird one to draw the line at personally. Yeah, we really messed this one up. We did not go the direction I wanted to go. Maybe we could just try and get into orbit. Maybe one day we can rescue this guy, but they'll just be living around the moon for a while, I suppose. Oh god, I messed this one up pretty bad, huh? Let's see. This takes me out of the moon orbit. And then if I make another maneuver here, all I have to do is get that periapsis just enough to kiss the atmosphere there, and eventually I'll slow down. Oh, it's not quite enough velocity, but there might be a way to make this work because it's pretty close. Right now, I'm looking at 203 meters per second for that first burn, 505 for the second burn, so it's just over 700 total, and I have 650 meters per second of delta V. So if we make something a bit more efficient, I mean, it doesn't help that I'm in such a such a polar orbit here around the moon. I messed that one up when I took off. Like maybe let's delete this one for now. It's 495 meters per second, 203, 6. Well, it's still like 50 meters per second too much, but we're getting really close. Oh, yeah, okay, I know what I'm doing. Wrong. I'm burning at the periapsis instead of the apoapsis. This is much more efficient to do the burn here. I think this is going to be it. So we just want to get to around 40,000 meters per second. Sorry, 40,000 meters altitude above Kerbin. There, that'll do, I guess, or maybe a little bit less. A little bit higher, rather. Okay, so how's that looking? Oh, perfection. I think this is going to be it. Because that is only 179 meters per second. Yeah, I was making the burn at the wrong point. I was making things way harder for myself. That is looking like it'll work. Let's bring little Jebediah home, shall we? A 10-second burn here just to get out of the moon orbit, and then we've got a bit of it, like a few day wait, but we can just speed up time. Boy, I was kind of really fine though, huh? This was not the most efficient way to take off from the moon. I should have been going more kind of horizontal here, because that way it would have made the final burn a bit more efficient to come home. All right. Speed up time until we get out of the moon orbit, and then we can make an adjustment to this if we need to. But we've got 440 meters per second of delta V left, and I think we're only going to need at most like 200, because that's already 179. So we're just going to make it back. This was totally not planned. I thought, I mean, I was aiming to have way more than I needed to. But this is pretty exciting. I don't think I mean, I've played this game before. I played it many years ago when it came out. I was never that good at it. Like, even though I'm a space scientist, I suppose orbital mechanics is still not my strong suit. It's more in the domain of rocket science, I guess. But yeah, I never actually made it. I've never managed to land on the moon and come back in this game. So this is pretty big milestone for me. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Okay, so we've left moon orbit. Now, we'll just make a new maneuver, because... Actually, we don't think we need to make a new one. We might just have to adjust it. So the moment, I think, is that like just intersecting the planet? We don't want to do that. We want to just like skim the atmosphere a little bit more if we can. We'll bump that up just a little bit. We want to aim, I guess, want to aim for like maybe 40,000, 35,000 periapsis. Like, I think it'll be fine to make several passes, just so things aren't as intense on the first approach. And another thing we could do if we think we'll have enough fuel, although I don't... look, I was going to suggest maybe we make this a little bit higher and then bring this down a bit more, and then that way I won't be coming in as fast. But I'm worried about running out of fuel. I mean, I have a little bit to play with, so I'm going to make this just a little bit higher. We'll be very cautious. If I make that 218, then I can burn a little bit here. Just bring that down just a little bit, and then when I get back up to here, burn again for the final approach. 440 meters per second. This is 165. I'll aim to just spend like 100 meters per second here. All right, let's do this. I'll save just before we do this maneuver as well. Would you consider lab-grown meat vegan if a few thousand animals suffered and died to initially invent it? Good question. So there's two things here, actually, I think, because one is, would I consider it vegan, and then another is it a good thing that it's created? So I think, like, practically speaking, I think we're already pretty much at the point where, like, my understanding at least is, like, we might not need any animals to suffer or die to make lab-grown meat at this point already. But supposing, like, your thought experiment there, well, look, if it, like, even if that happens and lab-grown meat replaces, like, a fraction of total animal farming, that's a huge win for the animals. Now, those animals didn't consent, obviously, but, like, I think that, from a utilitarian perspective, that's, like, still a win. But would I personally eat it in that case? I don't even know if I'd eat it now, even if there was no suffering. Like, I think initially I did think, I was, like, you know, pretty confident I would eat lab-grown meat. Like, every now and then, because I mean, I probably would, even now, would probably still like the taste of meat. Just to eat it for ethical reasons, obviously, but like, more recently, I've sort of been a bit just off-put by the idea. I think it's been long enough, but it's a bit of a contradiction even in my own mind. So I probably wouldn't eat it, and I might not consider it vegan technically, but maybe the definition of vegan would change at that point. I mean, there's no more suffering going forward, so it's a question of, like, are we really, by eating the product, are we incentivizing that much? Like, are we incentivizing more people to do bad things for animals? I think that's the biggest question. Like, does it encourage someone else to make some other product that requires a few thousand animals to suffer? But overall, I think it would still be a huge win that that happens. People might fight about the definition of veganism and whether that falls under the definition of veganism, which is fine. But I think it's kind of irrelevant, because I think it would just be such a huge win. I probably wouldn't eat it personally. But I'd want to be careful. I wouldn't want to, like, tell anyone else not to eat it. The choice between someone eating an actual animal and lab-grown meat is, like, just such a win for animals. Alright, let's just save here. Yeah, I don't know. The vegan part of that question, I'm not so sure about, but the rest of it, like, it being good, I think I'm pretty confident about. But I don't know. What do you think? It's gonna retract the legs. Not that I don't think it will matter, but it just looks nicer. It's gonna be a pretty short burn. Were you able to view the passing of Comet Haley-Bop? I just went right past that. I'm so not good at multitasking. I turn around to look at the chat for 1 second and go right past what I need to do. Just gonna do this. Sorry, could you remind? I'm blanking. I know that came recently, but how recently I'm not sure. There was the comet that was it Devil's Comet? Is that Haley-Bop? I know Devil's Comet is his nickname. I mean, that one was a few weeks ago. I tried to see that one because it was supposed to be visible from Sydney. And I did find a good spot, and I was looking in, I think, the right direction. I had my star chart app. It was above the horizon. I had reference points to all the stars, but I just couldn't see it. And I suspect the light pollution in Sydney was just too much. But I'm blanking on which comet Haley Bop is, actually. Yeah, I should know this because I made a video about it like a month ago. Well, not Haley Bop, the other one, in any case, the Devil's Comet. I agree it would be a win, and I think vegans should embrace lab-grown meat. Yeah, I think so as well. I just can't help but feel that there will be a lot of vegans who are opposed to it. I mean, I just hope that they're opposed to it only in the sense of like not having it themselves, which is fine. But if they're like telling other people not to have it, that's probably a mistake, I think. Haley Bop was in 1997, and it will come back in 4383. So I'll probably miss the next one. No, I don't think I saw it. I would have been 5 at that time. So I probably missed that one. I think I've only seen one. Which I'd have to check which one it was, but that was roughly back in like I want to say like, I don't know, early 2010s, I think. Did you see Haley Bop? Okay, so I'm gonna add, we've got a bit of fuel to burn, 279. We're gonna add 1 retrograde here. Well, that's not what we're gonna do. That's gonna take us back past the moon. Okay, we'll do that. $78. That'll give us 200 to work with, which should be plenty. So yeah, that should reduce our final approach speed a little bit, make us less likely to burn up in the atmosphere. It was a lot more visible than other comets in the last few hundred years. Yeah, I missed that one. I probably didn't even know what a comet was at that time, but well, I look forward to the next time in 4383. No, I didn't get to see it, but I heard it was a huge comet. Everyone could see it in the sky with the naked eye. Yeah, that's cool. There was the one comet I did see, and I'll check the name of it in a sec. That one I saw with the naked eye from Adelaide. But it was a little bit nicer to see with binoculars. Alright, and then one last maneuver here. And we'll just bring the periapsis to about 35,000. Too much. Too little. Okay, perfect. So what may happen here is we may like skim off the atmosphere and just lose a bit of speed, but eventually we'll come in for that final approach. So once we do this burn, it's just a matter of waiting. Oh, okay. We had plenty of fuel to burn. We could have even reduced the apoapsis a bit more, but no big deal. I think we'll be fine. We have the drogue parachute in any case, if we need that. It's gonna be a very short burn though, so I gotta I have to try and get it just right. Alright, how are we looking? 35,000. Excellent. That is looking good. Final approach. Well, we can jettison this third stage rather, that has done us so well. The rest of our lander, that'll probably burn up in atmosphere eventually. But we can just warp on in. All right. This is pretty cool. We actually may end up very close to the airfield or to the launch center, which will save us our recovery costs. Okay. It's getting toasty. Okay, we're not gonna skim. We're just gonna come right in. Oh, we're not quite gonna make it there. If I came in slightly shallower, I might have made it to the airfield. I think we've actually done it. I mean, we're not gonna burn up. The question now is, are we gonna slow down enough? But that's why I've got two parachutes. So one of these parachutes is a drogue parachute, which means it's more designed. We're going to deploy that. This one's designed more for higher speeds, and it's just to slow you down. And then for the final landing, we'll drop that other parachute. What's the rarest astronomical event you are aware of? I guess it's like one that we could plausibly see. I mean, there's some like I could make up some that are just like absolutely bizarre, like a black hole could hit our sun, for example. But stuff that's like pretty plausible for us to see. Like probably a supernova, to see that. I mean, if a star in our galaxy went supernova, that could be pretty interesting. I think we're going to be just fine here. Fairly close to the Space Center, globally speaking. Just got to make sure I remember to activate the other parachute. I could do it now, I suppose, and it'll be fine. Are we above the water? I can't really tell. But let's drop that other parachute. Yeah, I think we are. Oh, goodness gracious. We've finally achieved my dream of getting to the moon and back in Kerbal Space Program. It's pretty... Compared to like what I know some other people have done, it's pretty lame, but... yeah, I've never done that before. So I got there, landed, and planted a flag and made it back. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, now we wait. We did it. We made it back. It's a shame we didn't have a mission for that. Well, I know now that if I ever want to get to the moon, I do have that saved. And I can just use that to get back. I mean, I'm probably make some tweaks because it was closer than I would have liked it to be. That's a lot of science, though. We recovered a lot of science value from that moon. How good. I just wonder if I should like upgrade stuff here. Oh, I see what that means. No, I have to upgrade this research center to go any higher than that. What I could do, because you can also do missions to, like, you can also build planes. So maybe I'll build a plane. And because some of the missions I think are just not, they're just easier to do with a plane. They're like, go to a specific location on the planet and take some data. So I might try that after this. Would a visible supernova in a lifetime likely have already happened due to the time needed for the light to travel? Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's almost certainly light from a visible supernova on its way to us. I'd be very, very surprised if that's not the case. Just a matter of when the light arrives. Of course, I get a mission now to plant a flag on the moon. That's so typical. And then science data from the surface of the moon. Oh man. Science data from space around Kerbal. I mean, these missions are like... Would have loved to have done those missions just then. Don't really feel like going back to the moon just now, so maybe we'll try that another time. But we've got those missions if we need them. Expires in 3-4 days, so we've got plenty of time. Well, I may as well just accept those missions. Well, let's try and build a plane. Oh, maybe I might have to unlock some parts from science first. Aviation. Cool. All right, let's build a plane. Got a cockpit. I guess a fuselage. Do we have a bigger fuselage? Yeah, nice. What's going on here? There we go. In an interplanetary world, how big of an issue do you think communication would be, since you could never communicate live to another planet? So within our solar system, probably not that big a deal, but if we ever did colonize any other star systems, I mean, our nearest star system is Alpha Centauri, which is 4 light years away, so it's an 8-year return time. If you send a message to Alpha Centauri, someone there, you won't get a response for 8 years. So that's pretty impractical. They'd effectively just be separate places. But for within our solar system, not that big a deal. I mean, Mars is like what, something like 20 to 40 minutes delay time, depending on where it is. So I mean, we can like pretty much remotely control our rovers on Mars, for example, just by driving slowly. Like, look at where it is. Look at the camera. Be like, I want to drive 1 meter forward. Send that command. 40 minutes later, you see what happened, or even longer, maybe for two-way return time. And then you pick another spot and you drive a bit further. But yeah, within our solar system, it probably wouldn't be that impractical. Okay, I'm gonna need wheels. I know that one for sure. So we've got 2 wheels at the back, 1 little steerable wheel at the front. That's looking nice. I think I'm gonna want like some kind of elevon somewhere here to actually give me some control on the lift. I don't know, a tail might be nice. I suppose I don't need one. I think there's a way to place this kind of in a clipping way. Oh, I should have checked my center of mass. Probably want the wings roughly over the center of mass. Maybe the wings should be a little bit further back. I mean, I kind of want this wing to be like, I mean, this elevon to be like, I don't know, more angular, like more more parallel with the wing itself. But I don't remember how to do that. I don't know. Let's just see maybe if this actually takes off. I don't know if this has like inbuilt flaps or something. I don't have engines. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I got a plane with a no engine. The wheels work? No. Okay. Yeah, I don't have engines. Do I have engines? Oh yeah. Jet. How does this work? It's not what I meant to do there. How do I put this engine on? Probably the little one. I think one of the one's a bit too big. we need some kind of strut to connect it? Why is this so difficult? Do you know who Tash Peterson, Vegan Booty, is? Yeah, I've heard of them. I think I've seen some of their videos. I haven't met them. They're from Perth, but Australian vegan activist community is pretty small, so I definitely heard of them. I'm so baffled. I don't know why. Can't work out how to put this engine on. Oh, that can't be right. I'm a bit out of a, I'm at a bit of a loss, so I'm actually just gonna yell at that and see if I don't think that's gonna do anything. So I want some kind of air intake. Like I want it on the bottom of the engine, the bottom of the wing, ideally. Well, I'm really struggling here. Does anyone know how to build a plane properly in this game? Do you think their activism is helpful or harmful? I have no idea, honestly. I mean, they're definitely... So, with some issues, sometimes, like... Oh, what just happened? It fired for like a second. But I think there's no air intake, so it's not actually doing anything now. Oh, I actually have pretty good turning with that flap there. Activism is helpful, harmful. I mean... Yeah, I think with some issues sometimes you have to take, like, to get people's attention, you have to take a bit more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I just have to be able to get people's attention more, and sometimes that requires, like, some of the stuff she's doing. I don't know. I've seen, like, it could there's always a backfire risk, no matter how nice you are about issues like this. I think these sorts of issues are just like we just don't know, like pretty much any form of activism. Like we don't have a good sense of how helpful or harmful it is. Like just like, the most polite form of activism could backfire. So I honestly don't really know. I've always thought that there should be more data collected on the impact of any form of advocacy for like vegan or animal advocacy. And until we see that, I don't really know, to be honest. Try something a bit different. I don't know if that's going to be enough lift, but I know that these wings have a bit of control on them. I feel like I just got to look this up. I'm like really struggling to work out how to build a plane in this game. All right, let's have a look. Okay, they started off like I did. I don't even know about where'd they get that part from, that tail. I don't know if I have that one yet. But I might not need that. Okay, they're using the swept wings. Oh, they just kind of jiggle it until they get something they want. Oh, that's interesting. I'll see what they've done. Let's try that. We'll come back to that. I don't know if there's a setting I'm missing that makes that so hard. But they used like a small, this one I guess, on the side. And I suppose then I can put my engine on here. And then the air intake on the other side. Okay. Oh, I see. I probably have to... Well, that way... Ah, there you go. Okay. Okay. You put two winglets like here. Just wish I could work out how to get the elevons to like align the way I want them to here. Well, this might just work. Maybe I can... I'll go have a look at see if I can unlock any more crucial plane parts in a sec. Look at this. Look at this beast of a plane. engines are actually generating some thrust. Look at that. Taking off. I think I need the elevons. I think. Oh boy. I probably don't have. I don't know what the aerospace term for it would be, but I don't have a neat way of angling up. The winglets aren't enough. But we're getting there. Alright, let's see if we can unlock any fancy new parts. Yeah, I don't think so, actually. When do you get that tail? Anyway, doesn't really matter. I think the main problem is... I'm gonna go back to that video. See what they said about putting these ailerons on. They just like jiggled around until they got the right spot there. Well, that's something. It's definitely something. Hmm. This is really bothering me. I don't know. Let's just try that. I mean, it's pretty damn ugly, but maybe that's just enough to get the job done. I think next time I play, if I play Kerbal Space Program next week, I'll definitely look into how to actually fly a plane properly. Before then. But there's another game I'm interested in playing, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But another space game, but something a bit of a change of pace maybe next time. It's not quite enough. I don't think it's going to actually take off. Oh! Hey! Lift, lift! Oh my god, we've done it. We just had to actually leave the runway in order to take off there. If I don't bank this thing up, I just lose altitude. Hey, Leona. Wish I could think of anything to ask. I just like video games. Oh, that's alright. Thanks for being here. Oh, God. I didn't realize I couldn't see the ocean. I didn't realize that was coming up so fast. That was a bit better. That was a little bit better. Alright, I'll try one more time, but yeah, I think what I'm thinking of playing next week is going to be this. It's called Re-Entry. It looks pretty cool. It's more of it's not a space launch game, but it's more of a first-person astronaut kind of simulator rather than like a rocket builder, like Kerbal Space Program is. So you're in the cockpit and it shows you like, you know, which buttons and switches to pull to actually launch a rocket.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
So I think this is the main gameplay sequence. So you're pretty much just in the cockpit the whole time, and it tells you like you got to read the manual and work, like know actually how to fly a rocket. And these are all real rockets, of course. Apollo, this being the rocket that took to the moon. Oh, that's cool. I actually didn't know you could land on the moon in this game. Yeah, I think I might get that one for next week. Now, back to task here. So we're trying to make... Just don't know why my elevons don't actually snap onto the wing the way I want to. Which wing are they using? Swept wings. That is the one I'm using. Just gonna Google this. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I did, but that worked. I just wish... Can we fix that? Oh, look at that. I don't know why that's working now. Alright. If I can do one more, I think we're really onto something here. I'm pushing... The guide on the text guide I just found said push D and S until you get what you want, and that seems to have done something. Now, okay, that could be it. Well, let's try and do a mission. Because we can put some science in here. We've got a few missions we can do by just flying to it. What types of things do you think do you do to recharge from activism? The knowledge of the evils of the world is exhausting to carry, even though it's our responsibility. Well, playing games is a pretty big one for me. Yeah, I mean, spending time with my partner and my cat and friends. Like watching anime, sci-fi. I do like to go bouldering, indoor rock climbing. I haven't been able to do that in a few weeks because I've had an injury. But hope to get back into that soon. But yeah, I mean, I like video games is probably my most common downtime activity. Let's see, there was a site that was pretty close. Is it really that far away? That'll take a while to get to. I thought there was a mission with something I could go visit a little bit closer than that. There's only one actually I have right now. Okay, so crew report at this location, these locations. Now, I was wondering if I should put more engines on here, but I mean, I think this might be enough to just at least lift off. Oh, yeah, let's take some science. Maybe not a goo containment, that's a bit big. We'll take one barometer and one thermometer. Alright. I wish the back wasn't so ugly, but I can't think of it. I don't really have anything that like neatly slots onto there. Okay, my method of takeoff right now is just to like drive off the edge of that runway. Oh, I don't have enough lift now for some reason. Like just slowly losing altitude. That wasn't that bad of a landing, all things considered, but I don't know what maybe I need another pair of engines. The only thing I changed was added another aileron. Yeah, just add another pair of engines up here. Alright, let's try that. It's good to hear. I felt a bit guilty playing games lately, like I could be using my time better, but that's silly. Point is to recover and stay useful instead of burning out. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I have that challenge as well of feeling guilty sometimes. Yeah, like you say, I think it's more important to not burn out. It can be hard to find that balance because not doing anything is also, it's probably not good in terms of burnout, but it's, you know, you want to do some good. So finding that the balance is going to be a bit different for everyone, I guess. I'm just not generating much lift here, am I? I lost the... These are some pretty catastrophic launches. Still trying to take off though. Getting closer to something flyable though. Oh, that's a rocket part. Oh yeah, there you go. I mean, it's not so ugly at least. It's not not exactly, I think, how a plane would normally look. Now, what's going on here? I have 4 engines, but not enough lift. Alright, Mr. Guy, what do you say? Next part is very important. We're going to get the center of lift in the middle, just behind the center of mass. In the middle or just behind the center of mass. Here's my center of lift. Center of mass. Center of lift should be just behind... I think it is. What if I move this back a bit? Oh no, that's not... How do I make this longer? I don't know, I guess that looks a little bit better. Okay, so I can adjust these things. Can I, like, ideally I just want to put something empty at the back of the plane. Oh, I know what I could do. Just have an empty fuel tank. Sometimes it's so finicky to get these things in on there. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit better. Fix the wheels and then try that again. Oh, it's too many parts now. Oh, okay. I can upgrade the hangar. such an ugly plane. Just don't have enough lift, it seems. Why is that? Oh, okay. Oh, we're doing it. Alright, yeah, nice. Pretty terrible plane. We actually have lift if we can keep it steady here. Well, the SAS helps maybe. Alright, finally. Okay, so we want to go for one of these things. Yeah, we want to... I think that's our mission, right? Crew report. D85. Is that what these places are? Yeah. Alright. Slowly climbing, slowly building speed, so let's maybe just accelerate time a little bit. Oh, we're losing some altitude now. Question is, do we have enough fuel to get there? I don't know about that one. How good. That took a while to work out. But I think it's going to take us a while to get there, so we can chill for a bit. Oh goodness. Lost some altitude there for a sec. I think I want to try and conserve some fuel. Maybe like keep my speed pretty steady. I don't know if we're gonna have enough fuel to get there. It's pretty far. Anyway, while we're chilling, if anyone has any questions, I don't know, anything you want to chat about. Otherwise, we can just chill, enjoy the stars, enjoy that Milky Way up there. Compared to some of the rocket launch missions, I think this one's a little bit more boring. I've never liked the flying aspect of this game as much as the rocket launch aspect. Yeah, we've already burned about a third of our fuel. We're like not even, I don't know, maybe we're like a tenth of the way there. In which case, yeah, we might just see if we can like make it to that island and land on it. That could be our challenge for the rest of the stream. Slowly turn us around here. Do I have any superstitions? Good question. I try not to. And I think I don't, but maybe I do. When I was younger, I would often like take stairs 2 steps at a time, or like I'd always have to end stairs. What was my protocol for that? when I say younger, I mean like a kid up until maybe around 18. I'd want to like take the last set of stairs, the last 2 steps I'd want to take like 2 at a time. And that was, I had to do that when I got to a landing. And I didn't like stepping on cracks, or like, I didn't like stepping on, not so much cracks, but like the gap between tiles. I'd try not to do that too much. And I don't really know if I had a reason for that, for any of those behaviors. It's just kind of like quirks that I did. In terms of superstitions, I don't know. I'm sure I have something. I think it's hard to be fully free of all superstitions, but nothing comes to mind at the moment. Speeding up time really, the plane is not like that. I'm lost a bit of altitude there again. I'll see if I can work out how to turn on my brakes. Alright, seems like B is brakes. Ah, there it is. Alright. We've got to work now. So we're going to land on this runway. I want to turn a little bit more and then come in from the... Okay, that's not... that's not how we want to do that. Alright, we're fine. We're chilling. Losing some altitude, though. I think that island out there I can see is the runway. Have you ever been diagnosed neurodivergent, or do you believe you may be neurodivergent if you're comfortable sharing? I have... When I was a kid, and this is such a vague memory because I was pretty young, I feel like my parents may have thought I was bipolar. And I went to see a psychologist or something. Maybe a kinesiologist. I mean, I think my parents took me to a kinesiologist once, which obviously now I know is not very scientific at all, and I have a funny story about that I'll tell you in a second. But I have this vague memory of them thinking I may have been bipolar, and I don't remember what came of that one. I don't know. I don't know if they ever found out that I was. Sometimes I wonder if I may be, because I am a little bit non-typical, I feel like, at least. So I don't know. But no, not to my knowledge, but something, there's a vague memory somewhere there in the back of my mind. Now, in terms of, what was I saying, kinesiologist? So I went to a kinesiologist, and I don't know exactly how they describe themselves, like what their belief is. I'm more familiar with like what chiropractic belief is. But, so this one, so as part of the treatment, this guy laid me on a table and had me close my eyes, and he put a magnet on my head, and the magnet he told me was like, oh, so this magnet is like oriented a certain way. It's like the north pole of the magnet was facing a certain way on my head, and that was supposed to like cure me of something. I think I need a bit more speed here. And then he left the room, and me, I mean, I was pretty young, but I was kind of like poking fun at the idea a little bit. I think I was just a bit of a rude kid, let's say. So my idea to mess with this guy was I'm gonna flip the magnet upside down and see whether he noted, like, does he come back in and realize his mistake and then change it, or what's gonna happen. So I flipped the magnet upside down because he told me, like, if the magnet's the right way up, then it heals you, and if it's the wrong way up, then it does something bad. Let me focus fully on landing just for a second. I'll leave you with that teaser. No! Oh no! It looks good! What happened? Oh, that looks good, I thought. It just blew up on impact. I thought it was coming in pretty soft. What's that one little piece that survived the crash? I thought I nailed that, to be honest. I thought I had that in the bag. Alright, anyway. Okay, so I flipped the magnet upside down, and he comes back in, and I'm like kind of observing what he's doing. And I can like tell that he comes in and just like pauses. Like he has this moment of I think he's like thinking, did I put the magnet the wrong way around? And he's maybe a bit concerned about that. But he doesn't do anything. He just leaves it and carries on his business, carries on the treatment. So that, I mean, I like back then I wasn't even really thinking in terms of like my skeptic mindset and testing whether like this guy believes in what he's doing or whether it's true. But it's funny to think about in hindsight, because in a way, I don't know what the takeaway from that is. On the one, like, does that imply that they don't even believe, he doesn't even believe what he's doing? If a doctor does something, like if they give you, I don't know, if they give you a pill, a drug that's supposed to do thing A, but they realize they accidentally gave the wrong drug and it's going to do thing B, they're not gonna, you hope, they're not going to ignore it. They're going to like stop you, or they're going to say like, don't take any more of that drug, like I made a mistake, which is a pretty big deal. But that's going to be, I imagine, their response more than like, this guy just kind of didn't do anything. And if you really thought that having the magnet in the wrong direction is a bad thing, I mean, the fact that he didn't do anything about it, didn't change it, it's pretty interesting to me. Anyway, that was my experience with kinesiology. And I don't know what ended up happening with the whole bipolar thing. Okay, I should have saved just before that landing. Bugger. Yeah, okay. Well, we're getting to 1 p.m, which is where I said we'll end the stream, so I think we'll do that in a moment. Thank you for tuning in. And I think the chats were pretty good. Had some good questions. And I'm very keen to make this a regular thing. So I think I'm going to aim for another 3 hours next Saturday. Same time. So starting from 10 a.m. Sydney time to about now, which is 1 p.m. Sydney time. But I need to go and get some lunch, and Gemma needs some playtime because I think she's getting a bit bored. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at the same time. So take it easy.